everybody. Welcome to Thrive, where I believe you were not created to survive, but to thrive. And if you change yourself, you can change your world. Welcome back to another episode. Today, I'm really excited. I got a brother, a friend in the building, a special guest, and I got to meet him about a year and a half ago. Everybody, welcome Matt to the podcast. Come on. Welcome to the podcast, Matt.
Pleasure. Thank you so
much.
Thank
you for being here, brother.
Oh, excited and honored. Truly.
How have you been?
I've been blessed.
Oh, man.
I love saying it, but it is true. I've been blessed. Everything is not in order, but amazing.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Yes,
I always say we don't have everything we want, but we have everything we need.
Yes.
You know, and there's a lot of wants on my list. My needs, man, God's superseded that.
Oh.
He has been too good to us. And so I want to tell people a little bit about you first and foremost. So Matt's a business owner and MVP Miami, MVP Atlanta, all things luxury car rental. You've been doing that for a while. We're going to get into that. But you also had a journey of faith, especially over this past almost 2 years now, year and a half, 2 years. And I've seen your transformation. And I want to get into that into more details in just a moment. But I love everything about you, your mindset. I feel like every time we talk, we either go out to eat lunch or we've had dinner.
This is what I say about you. So this is kind of
we think alike. We have very same mindsets. You are a go-getter. And you're always trying to think, okay, what can I do? I mean, you do that across everything, whether it's business or whether it's faith. We were just talking about how you invite everybody to church and you always have somebody with you that you're bringing, but you're like that in business as well. Where do you think that drive came from?
You know, I was thinking about it just the other day. So my father had, he had an equipment business that when I struggled in school, because I was scholastically challenged. It's a term.
Born and raised in Miami?
Born and raised in Miami.
Yeah, 305.
Spent 4 years in Argentina.
Okay.
And then I came back with my father.
That's right. You are Argentinian through and through.
Yes.
You enjoyed mates?
I don't. So I'm Cubanized a lot.
You'll take the Cuban coffee. The
I'm like un churrasco empanizado is what I like to say. You know what I mean?
That's a good way to put it. So that is a great 100%. Way to put it.
I became more Argentinian in my latter years, bro, because of course, my passion for soccer. And then when I realized, I'm like, oh, it's okay to be different.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. But you still enjoy like a milanesa?
Oh, man, come on. Argentinian food is one of my favorites.
Absolutely.
You know?
Some good red wine or something like that.
Oh,
but no to the mate.
No to the mate. My mom does it.
Yeah.
Never really got into it.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I was drinking cafecitos all.
Yeah. Are you good with asados? You'll throw down an asado?
I don't throw down because that's what my father does.
Okay.
You know, but I need to because
we have somebody on our team, Lucho. He's like family. Him and Nadine are amazing. Argentinian. I don't know if maybe you've met him, but either way, he does incredible asados.
They're the best.
Oh my God.
My father's is the best. The consistent, like I love consistency from restaurants. We talk about it with foodies.
Yeah.
My father's consistency it's every time.
Wow.
No matter what. He just set up his backyard, so we're going to be doing one.
Dude, you got to let me know.
Oh,
I met your dad recently.
Yeah.
Your dad is awesome.
Yeah.
He's a character.
He's definitely
he is awesome.
He's definitely a character.
So your dad had an equipment company.
So he had an equipment business.
What kind of equipment would he sell?
Heavy equipment, construction equipment, cranes, excavators, dump trucks.
Like since you were little, you grew up in that?
Yeah, pretty much. My dad got into it when I was around 10, maybe a little younger.
Okay.
So I've been in and out of equipment, you know, imagine now I'm in the luxury world, but before it was that. And I think my gift to gab, which everybody tells me I have, it came from back then. Like my father would, I'm 12 years old, 12 already, he would like have me entertain things. Like, call these people up. We're going to buy 10 dump trucks. I'm like, these are 30 grand a piece. He's like, yeah, we're buying 10. I'm like, I don't think we're buying 10. Minute. But he's like, negotiate them. And he just built this confidence and you know.
So he was a business mind, hustler.
He was an entrepreneur himself. And, you know, he played the fortune game, as I like to call it. And it went well. You know, he had like these up and downs like we all do.
Especially, when you are self-employed. I remember I grew up, same thing. My dad was had his own business, entrepreneur. He made signs, electrical signs, all that. And there's some months where it's incredible. Other months where you're kind of like, Lord, where are you?
Yeah. What's going on? We're going to make it?
Yeah.
So I've seen him go through some good times. You know, I was in Taekwondo and I was in dirt bike racing. And I remember those times where my father gave everything for me. And he was kind of obsessed with me, and which is Now translated to me and my son, I'm
Yeah.
obsessed. Like, I mean, I talking to guys like, is this healthy? Because I am.
Your son Noah, he's a champion. But I can relate. I got Aria. She's now 3 years old. How old is Noah now?
He's 5.
5, yeah. And yeah, we are obsessed. And sometimes I'm telling you, I'm there with you. I'm kind of like, Lord, I feel like I love her so much, and I got to remember you love her more. But it's
And
almost
I have
like
to
this.
love you first.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody recently. Pastor David Campbell has 8 kids, and
Wow,
8 kids. And I was telling him sometimes the fear and anxiety. You know, when you let her go to school or whatever. If I'm not there, I feel like I can't protect. And he's like, yeah, he's been there with 8 kids. And I said, okay, so I'm normal. What I'm going through is normal. But yeah, there is that. Man, we just want to be with them. So your dad was like that with you?
Yeah, he was like that with me. He raised me amazingly. I mean, I had some years where I went off track, but stuff like that I didn't realize today that I'm able to take on phone calls and take on negotiations, and I do it like not even trying, kind of just like, oh, I know what to do. I know what to say.
Yeah.
And I think it's from those early years where he was like, make this phone call, make that phone call, and talk to this guy.
Yes.
And that ended up building a lot of confidence and a lot of ability to,
Absolutely.
to have dialogue with people and, kind of finesse the conversation in my favor. And I think that's where it started.
We want to let you know that Thrive merch is now available. Remember, Thrive is a spirit, it's a mindset. And if you want to represent Thrive all over the world, wherever you go, merch is now available. It's also a good way to support the podcast, not just sharing stories, not just leaving comments, but also representing with merch wherever you go. Let people know that you are a thriver. We were not created to survive, but to thrive. We have right now in black and white available. And so go to the website, thriveworld.us, and support and represent and let the whole world know that we were born to thrive.
I would agree with you. I'm same way. I grew up with my father. So since I could remember 11, 12, 13 years old, my dad, at first he would work for a company and then would take on little side jobs, and he would do it in our garage. And so there were some nights where we had to go be in there, and my mom was like, hey, you guys got to go help your dad. And we were in there all night till 8, 9 o'clock at night, helping my dad. And then finally he opened up his own business, and he left the job that he was at to go on his own. And we had to be there every summer. Every Saturday we were there. And I remember, being 14, 15, 16, hating it. And he's like, call this client, do that. And at the moment you don't like it, but man, it teaches you life lessons. 100%. And I think I agree with you. The confidence, the people skills, how to negotiate or talk. It goes back to our fathers who gave us opportunities. And so today you are a business owner, and you handle a massive business. It has a lot of stress, a lot of pressure. But shout out to your dad who gave you this incredible. 100%. He's still in your life. He's in your world. He's all over I saw him at the business the other day.
He's all over it. And he's awkwardly proud of me, I'm the best at everything.
Oh, that is awesome.
I try to tell him all the time, like, oh, I messed up here. Oh, you didn't mess up? That's because of this? I'm like, Pop, I messed up.
But what good, how good is it to have a coach like that in your corner that's
great.
Always proud
here's
of
the
you?
good part. When I was young, he was definitely pointing out all the mistakes, cocotazo por aquí, and now it's funny because, now he could actually be a little hard on me because I'm hard on myself, and he'll always be like, no, that's because you didn't have this, and if you would have died, this wouldn't happen. So yeah, he's great, and he's obsessed with my son as well. So
that is awesome.
He feels like he's reliving my childhood with my son.
Wow.
So he's apparently identical to me in behavior, but if you've seen him, he's identical to my wife physically. Yeah. We were made in God's image, but he was made in my wife's image. That's for sure.
Noah's a champion, and he's also made incredible progress. And maybe we'll talk about that. And he's a champion. Okay, so today you are the owner of MVP Miami. It is a luxury car rental company, but also includes houses and yachts and all that. And in a city like ours that moves at a rapid pace means you got to move at a very, very fast pace. But let's start. Where did this idea of start? Were you always into cars?
I was always into cars. Yeah. Always, since I was as far back as I can remember. But definitely when I was 15, 16 years old, I was obsessed with cars. Okay. It was a big thing. We were from Miami. Yeah. People would cruise down the Grove. Yeah, cruise in South Beach. Absolutely. Back then it was Hondas and and like
the Hondas were amazing.
And like that was enough. Yeah. Like my boy had a Honda Accord SE green.
The best.
With the tan leather. Yes. You got leather?
That tan leather with the green was classic.
Let's go, bro. Roll down the windows, cruise down Bird Road,
Yes.
So
the Civics were usually the more racing type.
Yes,
the
correct.
Accords, parents
little
were just
exhaust,
classy.
you know.
So you were into that whole scene.
Yeah,
You loved it.
But I didn't have a car. So
Okay.
my friends
Okay,
had,
okay.
one of my best friends had an Acura Legend. When
Okay.
he got that, he became a legend. Like it was like the Acura Legend was, oh my God.
What were you driving? What was your first car?
My first car was a Ford Escort.
You had a Ford Escort. Your first car.
Roll down windows.
No way.
At the age
No
of,
way.
At the age of 21.
At 21, you were in a Ford Escort. Oh, this is good. Wait, let's talk about
late
this.
bloomer. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I called it Whitey Ford.
Whitey Ford.
It was.
Wow. I shared my story the other day, but my first car was like a 1995 Isuzu Rodeo. So me and my front door neighbor, so we all grew up together from like the age of 11 or 12. We both got Isuzu Rodeos. I think his was a year or two newer than mine. But he was a little bit more well off than me, so he hooked it all up. He had the 12-inch, subwoofers in the back. I think he had 4 of them. Whiteout lights. I mean, his rodeo was hooked up. It was old, but it was hooked up. All I could afford was the whiteout lights, the clear lights from eBay. But my car was banged up. I mean, it. You heard the stories. It was a
sunroof. Couldn't roll down the windows.
Couldn't roll down the windows. No AC. The radiator messed up. So you had a 1991 white Ford Escort. Those were classic.
Yeah.
And here you're at 21.
At 21.
With a passion for cars.
And I was I literally carried around an Auto Trader. Meanwhile, I'm looking like, oh, this is a good deal. Couldn't afford it, but had not even close to being able to buy anything. But I was a big fan. I would literally cut out the cars. Like at 15, I was still cutting cars out of the Auto Trader.
Wow.
And I would slam them. So I would take out the wheels and tuck the wheels in a little bit. Yeah. And then meanwhile, I'm dreaming about it. All my friends were getting these nice cars. Yeah. And although my father had his good moments, right on time when I'm 15 and 16 where it counts. Yeah. He was going through his, we're not going to out you, Pops, but his second divorce. So it was a rough time for me, you know, and that's when I, started messing around. But then imagine 5-6 years later, I'm getting my first car.
Wow.
You know?
So how did that transition now into you even thinking about getting into the car business?
Well, you talked about that street the other day. I was on Struggle Street for a while,
The famous street that we all grew up on.
Or the Struggle Bus.
Absolutely.
I also
the Struggle
it.
Bus, yes, absolutely.
So I took the first car and I moved out when I was 17.
Wow.
Yeah. So I didn't have no cars, but I had an apartment.
Okay.
All my friends were in high school and I was already figuring out how to pay rent, you know. So I was in and out.
Is that because you wanted to? Just let me get my own.
I just, my father was getting, when he got the divorce, he got this, he met this new woman who had 2 kids. They were super cool. Yeah. But it just felt weird. It didn't feel like my house anymore. And, my parents, I don't know why, they were like, if you guys want to move out on your own, and we're like 17 years old, we're like, we definitely want to move out on our own.
So you're like, I'm going for it.
It was a terrible idea. I went down to 112 pounds.
Wow.
Very fast.
Oh my God.
But we managed, we managed, and I started figuring it out for as long as I could. And then I just kind of went back and forth, and I didn't land until like my entrepreneurship days until I went back to work with my father.
Okay.
So now my father's getting divorced for the 3rd time, and he's got this business that he kind of abandoned.
Same business, the equipment business.
The equipment business. Okay. He kind of like completely abandoned it. He had this great contract in Dominican Republic, where he was doing a lot of business. But there's a lot of distractions in the DR. He was 55 years old at the time, so he found ways to entertain himself and kind of got lost and left the business kind of like, no cash flow, no nothing. I get in there. And I'm like, all right, I got to make this happen. I got to do something with this. So I go on his emails and I see people are offering equipment for sale through email. So they'll do like an email blast, right? And it'll be 2-3 pictures of a piece of equipment with a price on it. And we had a truck at the time because he was using his own truck to transport. So I'm like, the truck's not moving. I said, I'm going to take these same emails and just forward it to everybody in this email box.
Wow.
So some people were like, yo, you just emailed me my own machine. And how did you email it to me for $1,000 less?
But you're just trying to think of ways.
And I'm like, no, I thought maybe I'd beat you down $1,000 and then sell it for the same price, or, get the transport out of it. And then I was talking to some guys who were like, bro, you're really hungry. Then I'll send you some stuff off market. I'll send you some stuff I haven't blasted, you know? And then little by little, I just started to create motion in that space.
Yeah.
And before you know it, it took off.
Wow.
And I was bringing young guys that knew nothing about equipment, but were hungry and wanted to grind. And we just started creating motion. I mean, at one point, like people at the cat dealership were like, "Oh, you heard about these guys at Hydropower Equipment?" And they're like, they're pushing iron over there and they're moving units. And we just caught this motion. We went from 1 truck to 4 trucks.
Wow. But I want to talk about that for a second, because I think, a lot of people listening to this may have their own business or whatever. I've talked to a few people, especially at church, after some of the services, that they'll listen to Thrive. As a leader, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you have to stay creative. Yeah. Because there are days where you are going to get stuck, where business is not going to be moving, it's not going to be booming. You're going to be like, okay, what do I do? You have to stay creative. Yeah. Obviously, without doing anything illegal. Right. But how can God help me? And I really do believe God gives ideas. But you have to be a hustler. Yeah. And you have to say, God, help me. I'm going to get up. I'm going to look at life through a positive outlook. I was talking to Diana recently, and we were talking about the good eye, which we talked about through the Sermon on the Mount. Great. Saying, wait, God is for me. And if I do my best, God's going to work something out. So you had a creative mind right there to say, God, I'm just going to do something. Yeah. And you started moving, and look, business just started picking up.
It did. And nowadays, I see God in everything. Yeah. Right. Back then, before getting to know God, you kind of give yourself kudos. Like, oh yeah, I figured it out. Por aquí no trae ni una mosca. Look at, so it's like.
All along, it was God who was helping you out.
Oh man. Yeah. Now it's like, we talked a little bit about sharing my testimony, but there's not enough tape in the camera, because I don't want to shorten the author of life his credit. He's been working this whole time. I didn't know it, but I don't know. Sometimes ideas just come to you. Yeah. And I just started pushing and pushing, and then I would get these guys to push. And I remember going through my dad's old school, so everything was written down, and I would just I think I heard him talking to this guy one time. I'm gonna call this guy. And then again, my father would come in and encourage me. He flowers everywhere, like, oh, you got this, which worked out for him, of course, but he gave me that extra motivation, and I ended up building a team of like, it wasn't a huge team, but it was like 5-6 guys. And this is 2009, 2010. Wow. So that was that was timing. That was God's timing. I stepped in when the economy had gone down.
After 2008.
So now there's not that much construction going on. So people who had equipment that they were using are now selling the equipment off. And we're selling to guys overseas. Dollars down, their money's worth more. Yep. I'm taking stuff that's not being used here, shipping it overseas,
Timing is everything.
Yeah.
And as a business owner, knowing the times are important. In the Bible, it says that the sons of Issachar understood the times, right? And that's different. Talk about theology and spirit. But I think in business, the same thing. You have to have an understanding of the times. And I know you do that in your business. Maybe we'll get into it. But understanding if this is going on in business, what else can I do? Looking ahead. I remember sitting down with you a year and a half ago, and you're like, no, this is where it's going to go over this next year. So this is what I'm thinking about doing. And you're always looking ahead. And that's important in leadership. So business begins to move. Now, how do you transition to luxury cars?
Well, coincidentally, wife is from Colombia. So Colombia ended up being like 60% of our market. Okay. And basically anybody selling equipment in South Florida, they were catering to the Colombian market. Okay. So in 2012, 2013, that's about our run. And in 2013, Colombia closes off they just put restrictions in for import. Okay. So we couldn't just export any piece of equipment out there. It had to go to someone that has been in business for 5 years, has a contractor's license for X amount of time, and has the equipment designated for a job. Okay. Because what was happening was we were selling a lot of equipment, I guess, to the wrong guys, and they were basically just taking the excavators, was the most popular piece of equipment we were sending, and they were putting it on mountains to dig for gold. Wow. The land didn't belong to them. They had no permits. It was just basically like set up some guys with some equipment. But
you're just selling the equipment.
I'm just selling the equipment. I don't know where it's going. We didn't hear about it until the restrictions started.
So all these restrictions, so that cut off a lot of.
So that cut off we just saw it, and then what happens? Everybody starts to slow down. So there's a lot of brokering going on. We're basically, you found a piece of equipment for me that belongs to J&A Excavation, but I send you the money, you pay them off, and then I get the equipment picked up. What happens is now your bird dogs are running light on money. You pay them. They don't answer the phone. You call J&J Excavation because you saw you zoomed in. You're like, that's the company that owns it. We never got paid. He was here. He took pictures.
Wow.
So now brokers started to go bad. We started to lose money. The amount of sales went down, and we had just gone through some good years. So I was purchasing cars.
Okay.
Credit had gotten shot from the '08 crash. So we were buying these cars cash. My dad bought a car. I bought a car. My uncle bought a car. And then we would trade off the car. We would get bored. And then I make friends with a guy named Charlie, who was running H. Greg at the time. And I'm like, Charlie, we're getting to know each other. We're friends here. Why do I keep losing money? I buy the car. 3 months later, I'm losing. And he's like, look, this is what's happening. You're paying this, that, and the third. He's like, get a dealer's license. Buy your own. I'll help you out, you know? And I said, I'm going to go do that. The idea was just to buy a car, drive it for 3-4 months, sell it.
Okay.
Even if I break even, I'm winning.
Yeah.
And it quickly escalated to me having a bunch of cars, and I could not sell these cars to save my life.
Wow. So you were getting stuck with them.
I was getting stuck with them. So I transitioned into the dealer, and here's how I transitioned into rental. This Jamaican kid, 23 years old at the time, comes in with this other guy, and they were like, oh yeah, no, we need this car, we need that car. They don't do anything. Okay, just a lot of talk. But the Jamaican kid comes back, and he says, look, man, I can put out this S-Class. I had bought an S-Class for sale. He's like, I can put it out for a 7-day rental. It's $2,500 in your pocket. I said, I'm trying to sell it and make $2,500. You mean I'm going to get it back in 7 days? $2,500 up and still have the car? I said, let's run that.
Easy.
Yeah. So I don't know what I'm doing. No trackers, printed out a temporary plate, no insurance verification call.
Oh my goodness.
Just a shot in the dark, put
It's
it
like
out.
the first version of Turo.
Yes. This is just a raver.
Take it.
Toro.
Yeah.
So the car comes back in one piece, you know, a few extra miles. I can sell the car at cost now, and I'm up $2,500.
Wow.
He comes back and he does it with a Porsche Panamera, which was what I was driving at the time. I had fallen in love with that car. And before you know it, he'd done it 3-4 times, and that's all I needed.
Yeah.
I call him
You were
up
done.
one
You were
day.
in.
Hey, he's like, no, we don't have no rentals. I said, no. We have stuff to talk about. Come to my office. And I said, I'm going to change my whole inventory for rental. Tell me more. Tell me the cars that move, and I'll go and do it.
Wow.
And that's it.
That's it. You were in.
That's it.
And that's where MVP Miami was born, basically.
Yeah. So
And the conception of it.
Correct.
And you got into the whole luxury car.
That's
and so that was what, 2013, 2014?
2013.
Maybe people listening don't know, but MVP Matt is a thing in Miami. People know you.
Yeah.
I would say you are basically the number one luxury car rental service in Miami. I think I did a little bit of homework. Vice did a
Yes.
thing on you.
That was
And that
great for us.
skyrocketed.
Oh yeah, that was great for us.
Well, they did like a whole documentary on luxury car rental, the business. Is that what it was? The whole show?
Yeah, it was basically that I'd come down here to do an interview on someone who was apparently this large car rental company owner and this and that. When they got here, they were like, this kid's a fake if you see it.
He was the other guy.
Yeah,
in the
he was a
documentary.
disaster.
Yes,
The guy's doing drugs, and he doesn't own anything, and he's just a big fake.
But then they compared that to you.
Right. So
that
then
you
they
did have
needed
one.
something. They're like, we're down here. We just got duped. And then they wanted to find somebody more legit.
Yeah.
So
But at that point, from what I remember watching, you were already established.
Oh, yeah.
You were already doing your
I had that
business.
corner store
Yes.
with the windows. Everything
Yeah.
was looking good. So they were like, hey, if you can tell us how you do business and what you know of the people who do business in that gray area, that would be great. I had no idea that they already had interviewed this other guy.
Okay, got it.
Yes, and the other guy made the show.
Yeah.
You know, me,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
come out like the perfect little.
He was the intriguing one that
Oh,
everybody
yeah,
wanted to know if he was
he
free or
was-
not. But that documentary, did that help your
Oh,
business?
huge.
It was
huge.
millions of views.
Yeah, it went to 10, 11 million views.
Wow.
5 million overnight.
No way.
Yeah, and that's when I realized the power of social media.
Wow.
And I was like, oh man, I'm going to catch this wave and I'm going to start posting. And then I ended up taking care of Meek Mill shortly after that. So, I got the good looks of the Vice video, and now I've got the urban market tapped in because Meek had just gotten out.
Okay.
So I'm handing cars over, taking pictures, taking advantage, of
Yeah,
like,
and your business starts just
and it starts to blow.
blowing up. Wow. Okay, let's talk a little bit about business stress. Because with blow up comes a whole lot of stress.
Yes.
I think anybody listening that's had any kind of years in business knows this. We talked about our fathers and how they had ups and downs. How would you deal with stress in the past with how you deal with it now? Stuff that wanted to, maybe one day, stress was so high, there's moments where you wanted to quit.
Yeah.
There's days where you were like, I'm turning in everything. I'm done with this.
Yeah.
How'd you navigate that?
For the most part, I'm pretty resilient. Like just naturally.
I love that you said that. It's one of my favorite words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's people have told me, and I've kind of accepted that. I just kind of like just deal with it.
Yeah.
So a term that I would use and throw all the time is, "We'll figure it out."
Yeah.
Now it's like, we're gonna take it to prayer.
Yeah.
You know, because I know that's where it's at. But yeah, I would always say we'll figure it out. But there was times where, oh man, dealing with the accidents, living in the unknown.
Yeah, because somebody takes a car and it's awesome, but they're going to go and they'll wreck it and they'll bring it back all banged up.
Especially when you have someone who rented the car and gave it to somebody else to drive.
Yeah.
And now you don't know if you're going to get paid through insurance. And I've been through some very tough times. I've had cars stolen. And
can you share one or two stories? Give us like the worst of the worst. People think having a luxury car business, it's amazing. It looks great. I mean, the cars that you have, I've been to your shop. It's absolutely beautiful. I grew up, so my parents were really good. I talk about it in my book, but we used to go down Ocean Drive, and go down Collins. And I remember being 11, 12 years old and seeing the Lamborghinis.
I remember reading that.
Yeah. And so I was always enamored. I think anybody growing up in Miami, you see these cars, you love them. I mean, we're young guys. We love it. It's beautiful. And so now to have them, you have them on your lot, they're yours, but it comes with a whole lot of trouble.
Yeah.
And these pieces are not cheap. We're talking about expensive. Give us a horror story.
I'll give you a horror story that ends pretty good.
Okay.
So it's I'll never forget this. It was my nephew's birthday, and he comes to the store, and we had these two clients come in from Chicago. So Chicago was like an Atlanta-Chicago connect. You got to stay with the streets. What's going on?
What is going on?
And there was an Atlanta-Chicago connect where they were targeting these car rental companies.
Okay.
Now they target transport, but before they were targeting car rental companies. So they would come in with fake IDs and drive the car around, and they go rip trackers off, and then boom, you never see
Disappear.
the car. So I had this intuition, and I was like, those two cars, let's look at them. And I tracked the two cars. I see at one point they were together. Things didn't add up. And I said, they're going to steal these cars.
You
guys,
knew it.
Yeah, I got this feeling. And I said, they're going to steal these cars. Get on it now. Start tracking the guys. Like once you put eyes on the car, it's hard it's going to get away.
Yeah.
So I said, put eyes on the car. And they heard me, but they didn't listen. So by the time they get to action, they get to a body shop and they say, hey, we're here where it last tracked. It's not tracking anymore. I said, I knew it.
They ripped the trackers off.
They ripped the tracker off. And this is early into my business relationship with my partners. So I'm like, oh my God, we're about to be down a car. There's no insurance. There's nothing you could do. If you gave it to someone with fake identity and fake insurance, there's nothing. You chalk it up.
Take a loss.
So you're down $220. So we go to...
In case somebody didn't understand, it's $220,000.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not a little bit of money. It's a whole lot of money.
$220,000.
Yeah.
It was... So we realized that car's no longer tracking. The trackers were ripped off at a body shop. Body shop owners like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. You can't do anything. Called the cops. They didn't care. They're like, there's nothing we could do. Somebody brought the car. They took the trackers off. Then another car that was with it was still tracking, or we get a tracking later at night. Okay. So I'm home. I'm already going through it. Yeah. I'm destroyed about this car. And this other car belongs to somebody else. It was a consignment car at the time. And we get a ping from the tracker. My guys tried to go and rescue the car. Now, what I told them was, do not approach them while they're in the car.
Yeah, of course.
Because then they're going to flee.
Yeah.
They didn't listen. Again. So they pull up to a Wendy's. The guys in...
You need a reality show, bro. This is wild.
I tried to get one. So they pull up, and sure enough, the guy peels off.
Wow.
Crashes the Bentley, causes $60,000 worth of damage to the Bentley. Bails, we have nothing. We have phones with some fake IDs and, pictures of the other car. They were getting shipped and whatever. And, right there, I'm down $60,000 in repairs, plus a car that's missing. And that went on, that's just a horror story. You lost. That's it. Wow. To me, we lost $60,000 and $220,000.
Yeah, basically $300,000 down, basically.
So you keep chuckling on, you keep working. And one day I'm at home on a Sunday. I'm still answering the phone lines, but I'm playing FIFA. Okay. And I have the phone right here. I put it like on my shirt, and I'm like, I don't want to answer it. It said Chicago, Illinois, something, you know. And I was like, then it calls again, and I say, wait a second, back-to-back call, Chicago, Illinois. I pick it up. Hey, good afternoon, MVP, and they're like, yep. But is this Doral Luxury Motors? Because the car was registered on the Doral Luxury Motors, and I said, yes, it is. And I knew right there. And I was just like, he was trying to talk, and I go, yes. Just tell me, is it in one piece? He's like, yeah, we found your Rolls Royce. It's perfect.
Wow.
The guy was driving it. Oh, this is a crazy story. It gets better. So he recovers the car. They wrapped it purple. They put 4G Auto wheels on it. We recover the car. When it gets to my business partner's dealership first, the car rolls in. It's been missing for like a year and a half.
That long?
Yeah.
Wow.
We're super happy to get it back. The car rolls in. One of the guys that works there is like, oh, hey, we just bought this car? And they're like, no, it was stolen from rental. We just recovered it. He's like, no, man, that car was at the 4G Auto show last year at SEMA, the show that they do in Vegas.
No.
He's like, nah, man, it's the wrong car. This car was stolen. He's like, no.
That's it.
Pulls up his phone. He's like, that's the car.
Oh, my God.
So they stole it from us, wrapped it, customized it on wheels.
What?
In June, they stole it from us in Miami. In December, it was in Vegas. At the show. With the VIN number exposed, by the way. They never even...
Bro, what? Yeah, we need a reality show. This is... So how do you deal with loss?
Well, you make more money.
Because you keep going.
Yeah.
So how do you get up another day after losing basically almost $300,000 to get up with enough energy?
Yeah.
To still have vision, to still have, there's a team of people waiting for you. You know, you have a fleet of 30 something cars. And I know at some point you had 55 cars.
Yeah.
And so how do you do to put your best face forward? What are some things that has helped you in the last decade to be like, listen, I've been there, I've been down.
It was belief. It was just believing that I was going to make it through. Matter of fact, that at that time, 2017, I was getting into the partnership deal that I have today. And the bank that I worked with, after I built out that store and spent a couple $100,000 building out the store and committing to it and everything, I was supposed to get $3 million from the bank that already gave me $1.5 million. And instead of getting me $3 million, they pulled back on their $1.5 million. So at the time that this car gets stolen, I'm already losing $10,000 a month.
Wow.
Opening the doors to this beautiful facility with $3 million, $4 million in car, lights on, everything looking amazing. Meanwhile, I'm losing $10,000 a month. I'm using cash flow from other people's cars to pay employees to pay bills. So at that time, I was losing $10,000 a month. And I would tell some of my employees who were
insane.
Yeah, kind of like, I'm here losing money.
Anybody seeing you from the outside would never know.
Oh, no. And I would never tell them because we
absolutely. But that just shows the resiliency to say, I'm going to believe. We're going to turn this around. You're taking a loss every single month. Yeah. You're trying to do the best you can. Again, this is a leadership podcast all about thriving. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, you're surviving.
Yeah.
But you're like, I'm going to thrive again.
Oh, well, sales were there.
Wow.
The business was in an upward climb. But we just didn't have enough of our own inventory to make enough money. So the phones are ringing, our sales are up, but we're not profitable.
Yeah.
We're losing $10,000 a month. I remember having a phone call with my business partner saying, hey man, I'm going to help you out. We're going to go into business. I'm going to get the money we need to do this. How much money you got left? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe I got like $500 left between the equity, So he's like, okay, you'll probably be broke by the time we get the money, but we're going to do it.
We are going to go
We're going to get it. So it's like, imagine you're saying, hey, we will get out of this.
Yeah.
But by the time we're out of it, I'm probably going to run through all my money.
Yeah.
And, he's like, yeah, you'll probably be broke by the time we get there, but we'll get there. Wow. I said, cool, man, put some cars out, call you later.
Wow.
And I just put my head down, did the work.
No, but I love that. And I think that's a huge lesson for all of us. And you got to have that resiliency. That determination, we're gonna get through this. Yeah. Even if you're facing your worst days, horror stories, somehow we're gonna make it through. And there's an old saying, you fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
And it's no, we got it, everything good. Under the water, like the ducks, you are paddling, you're going crazy trying to survive. And that's why I often say in this podcast, I don't mean that we thrive every single day and everything's great. But I think even in the worst of times where it feels like we're surviving, you can still thrive. Right. Say, I'm going to thrive mentally. I'm going to thrive spiritually. I'm going to thrive emotionally. I want to talk a little bit about now the spiritual side of things because if people don't know, if they're listening and they're not from Miami, Miami is a very wild city. And if you want to talk about somebody that was in the middle of it, it's MVP Matt.
Yeah.
You're in the car scene. Like we just talked about, there are some, musicians coming to rent from you, actors, artists renting from you. You're in the scene. Miami is a very scene thing. It's very surface, vein city. It's a fast city. It involves all things from women to drugs, all of that. You're in that scene because that's your world. You have to. These are the people that are renting. Were you caught up by the scene of Miami? Were you living that life? Were you Miami Matt, that you were just in it?
For a very short period of time. So when I was first getting into space, I went to share a warehouse with guys that were already very well established. And one of them in particular, you know him, okay? He's been living that life for quite some time.
Yes,
and he does it well.
Yeah.
So I remember just, going out a couple of nights with him and those late nights and the parties and the girls and the alcohol.
The crazy side of Miami.
And I remember, he put out like $15,000 worth of my cars. And on Monday, he was like, here's what's left from partying with me.
Wow.
And, I think I owed him money. So I was like,
it is a wild city.
Yeah. For starters, financially, I said, I'm not going to dabble.
Yeah.
And then, the other side is I actually feared it. I always feared it. I didn't want to get caught up.
Yeah.
You get in these cars and you pull up to these places. You got a nice watch on. You look like this and people are looking at you in a certain way. And I know that can get, they can get to your head.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you start and then you add the women and the nightlife and everything, you can get destroyed quick. So I was like, no, I'm not going to partake in that too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was lucky enough to meet my wife and that kept me, of course.
Yeah.
And then I was focused. I was just so focused on the business. And I feared dropping the ball because I saw so many people get in this space and get carried
caught up
away.
in it. You get caught up in it.
And I just feared it. So I saw it. I partook a little bit and I said, I'm out. I'm not going to do it.
Miami and many cities like it are very crazy. And if you're not careful, the flesh, the temptations of the flesh, the things that call us, the things that seem like they are good and fun, they may be, but they're fleeting.
Yeah.
They come and go. You may go out for a night and you go to Club 11 and you're drinking and you're in the car, you rent it from Matt, all of that. You got the jewelry rented also, all of that.
Sometimes.
But the next morning you wake up and you're like, what did I do?
Yeah.
Not only are you looking at a bank account where you wasted maybe possibly thousands of dollars in one night, but you're probably looking at somebody next to you, you don't even know who that is. And you make some really poor decisions. And our city is full of that. And I think all of us at one point or another, we've made poor decisions. And with the business that you are in, you see it often. People who just come down and they just want to put up a front. They just want to put up a look. So let me rent this car. And it's all fleeting. It all comes and goes. In the middle of you running this successful business, getting into this world and seeing the craziness, there's a turnaround in your life. There's a moment where, and we talked about this, God was always in your life. You were a believer. You always knew that God was there. You always knew you were a person who had a whole lot of belief, a whole lot of faith, maybe just not as strong as it became. But there was a moment where God basically got your attention.
Yeah.
And was that about a year and a half ago now, 2 years ago? And your life shifted. And I'll never forget, you came to church that Sunday and we get to pray with you and some friends. I saw something in you. And I told you just recently, I still see it in you. You are not the same Matt that walked into church a year and a half ago. God did something in your life, is still doing something in your life. And I just want to say, I'm extremely proud of you, brother.
Thank you.
People may know you from the outside, but I get texts almost every single day. Diana laughs sometimes because we're in the car dropping off Aria, and it's Matt every single morning. Hey, my brother, good morning. The Lord is good. He's doing something in my life, blah, blah, blah. I'm listening to this sermon, blah, blah, blah. But there was a shift that happened. Can you tell us what happened in your mind and your spirit? What made you be like, okay, I'm focusing on what God wants to do in my life?
Well, I definitely have you to thank. And I know you're just doing your work and you're doing God's work. But finding a place like Calvary was, man, it was just perfect. after being around, and I'm eating up the gospel, like the guy that's helping me with social media, he's like scrolling, he's like, why is there so much, I'm on, there's nothing but gospel on the algorithm. He's like, what? Oh, it's your Instagram, that's right. I like the term of radically changed. I love that term. It's not what it was for me. I think it was desperately saved.
Wow.
We went through something, terrible. And I thought I would never recuperate from it. Like the minute it happened, what's interesting is the minute it happened, I ran and just like grabbed the Bible. I didn't know what I was doing, but I grabbed the Bible and I was praying to God and just begging him to change the outcome of what was happening. And unfortunately, it did not change. I tried to understand it then, but it crippled me. It crippled me. The loss and what I went through and what the family went through, it crippled me. And I said, oh my God, I'm gonna live in darkness, in moments where I was like, I'm not gonna live, there's just no way you live through this, And then of course the closest thing to look at was my son and say, well, I have to figure something out. And then, of course we ran to the church, as people do, right? And the people in the family that we went to the church that day, some, kept going, some more than others, but I was desperate.
Yeah. But I could notice it that day. Like the Spirit of God was doing something in your life.
Yeah. So it just, it just grabbed a hold of me, you know, and there were so many things you were saying, that were hitting. And at first you're just like, want to believe it because it's relieving you, it's freeing you of the pain. And so you just want to hear that. And then you start feeling a change and believing it for real and just, building more of a relationship with God. And, there's no looking back now.
This thing has become for real for you. Yeah. I remember the next Sunday seeing you and the next Sunday seeing you and the next Sunday seeing you. And you start hitting me up and every single day and just asking questions and listening to sermons. Yeah. You are not the same Matt from a year and a half ago. Not just because of what happened, but I think because sincerely the Lord has been doing something in your life. The changes that you have made. This podcast, we're going to talk a little bit about everything, but from temptation to feeling I don't belong in some places. I know because of the business that you're in, sometimes you have to go out with clients or whatnot. And you've told me stories where you're like, I was at this place last night. And I just kind of feel like I'm going to go home, guys. I love you, but I'm going to go home.
I can't believe it.
Dealing with what we all got to deal with, sometimes scrolling to social media and be like, oh, wait, I don't want to see that no more. The conviction of the Holy Spirit has been so real in your life.
Yeah.
But every time you say that, every time you share with me, I want you to know it's encouraging because it confirms I saw God's hand moving in your life. It was evident that day, but He's been working in you. It's like refining you and molding you to be this man of God. Yeah. And here we are now, 2026, and you're a new man.
Yeah. Well,
people may know you as MVP Matt, and I know you got a history here, and you are the guy, but now you're a man of God leading this business.
And I try to. And I try to get that word out. And I the word has hit me and the Holy Spirit has moved me. And, I understand the words of like Paul, we're a new creation now. And, first you hear it and then you feel it. And then you're like, wow. And I also understand that I'm just wretched at the same time. Yeah. I know, like I was talking to somebody yesterday that told me, I gave my life to Christ, 2 years ago. And it's like, I don't do that. I won't go there. And he's like, oh yeah, you were always a good guy. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not a good guy still. I'm not good. I'm trying to be good, know, and now I just sat down to do a new business deal. And now I'm like, hey, I just want you to know that I'm believer.
Wow.
I'm a follower of Christ,
Wow.
and there's certain things that I'm not going to do, and I know it has an impact on people because we're about to go into business. I never thought I'd be telling somebody, hey, just so you know,
Wow.
before we go off to make money, which is what I want to do, there's certain things I'm not going to do because I'm a man of God now,
So good.
and the guy, even after we broke up the meeting, he's like, yo, the guy didn't even want to hit the vape in front of you because he was like,
he's like, no, wait.
then he told me, listen, Matt's seen a lot.
Yeah.
He's just trying to live by biblical principles and certain things that I just cannot do.
Yep.
There are some things, we won't talk about them, but somebody said something or showed me something, and I was like, it's too bad Christ got me, because I would entertain that,
Wow.
but it's just
Wow.
I can't, and I'm like, I just think about, Paul's one of my favorites.
Yep.
And when he says something like, the things I want to do, I don't do, and the things and you're like, Paul, you're doing everything.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm wretched.
Yeah.
I'm as wretched as they get. So when people say, you're such a good guy and this and that, and it's just like, no, I'm just trying to be, I'm just really trying to walk.
Yeah. And none of us are perfect, and we're all going to have our good days and our bad days, and we're all still in this flesh. And in this flesh, we're going to have temptations, and some days we're going to have victory over it. Some days the flesh may have victory over us. But a righteous man falls 7 times. 7 times he'll stand back up. The Lord will pick you up. But you're on this new journey, and we're proud of you. We're with you, the whole team, praying for you. You're in the middle of Miami. You are in it. You are what people see in the movies, on the TV shows. You're in that world. But the last year and a half, you've become a man of faith. And I know there's business deals that you're like, no, you've told us. And there's things where you're like, no. But that is real, and I think God honors that. And so maybe there's somebody listening today, and their business is causing them to maybe like just cut some corners here, cheat a little here, lie a little here. But there's something about doing this with fear and trembling and saying, no, I've decided to do this with integrity as much as I can. I'm going to strive to, but I'm going to say no to some things. God honors that. God absolutely. I remember I was in this business as well years ago, and there was times where I had to talk to my manager. I'm like, hey, listen, I'm not going to do this. I don't feel comfortable with this. But something happens, and I think God backs you up. When you do that and you say, no, I've decided to honor God with my whole life. That means with my money, with my decisions, with all that, God steps in and he blesses you. Here you are today. And I feel like you are at a different level now. You're now starting to coach and mentor other guys, and you're to come with faith. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing now?
Yeah. So coincidentally, the deal that I'm talking about is with someone that takes, I guess they're called creators or whatever, and builds their coaching programs. And of course, it's car related, it's car business related, car rental primarily, how to buy, sell, rent, handle claims, all of that stuff. And just kind of also one of the things that you do as a coach is you teach them about the business, but you teach them business mentality, motivational, inspirational. And my idea is to kind of at the same time, teach people about God, and
Amen.
and tell them that, this is what I do now.
Yeah.
And I can tell you from being in this business, there's gonna be some opportunities that you're like, oh man, we're about to hit a lick. But
be careful.
Yeah, but maybe there's something else for you,
I was at a conference recently, and the pastor that was leading this conference was saying there are people that are not in this room today because they made poor business decisions, and some of them are even sitting in prison today. Think about friends, think about family, think about our city. There are people that are sitting in prison today because they made a bad business deal. It looked like a good amount of money. It looked like with this, we are going to, hit the jackpot. We're going for it. Not every deal is a good deal. Yeah. Not every business is a good business. Not every partner is a good partner. And I just know that when you bring God into the mix and you put him first, the Holy Spirit is the one that gives you conviction to say, nah, maybe you shouldn't partner with this person. Maybe you shouldn't take this business deal. I don't care how lucrative it looks. I don't care how good the money is. The Holy Spirit just brings this conviction, right? That it's just kind of like, no, I'm not going to do that. And sometimes we need a coach, we need a mentor, especially somebody that's walking with Jesus, to help us be like, okay, how can I look at this through a biblical lens? Like, okay, it looks good, but the Bible teaches me a whole lot of things that I shouldn't take this deal. Yeah. What has God in your life now done for you? What does it look? What does your relationship with God mean to you now?
Whew. I mean, I see him in everything now, and it's like, so when I first started walking, I was getting obsessed. I guess they call it being on fire, right?
You're on fire.
Yeah, and I was just hearing so much, and I was podcasting and YouTubing, and you do a service, and then I go back and I'm not the best reader, still not reading as much as I should. Yeah. But I'll watch more sermons on it, or I'll watch the stories on it.
Yeah.
And I'm just getting all this information and all these, these, it's not just scriptures, but sayings that Christians have. And at first you're just like, oh man, that sounds good. And then before you know it, it's molding you.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't even listen to music anymore. I'm gospel.
That's right. We've talked about that.
And I love music.
Yeah, we grew up in Miami. You grew up listening to hip hop, especially in the '90s. We grew up listening to Jay-Z. That's like, the best MC of all time. But I don't even want to listen to it.
It's like, so I told you that I've gone out a few times. I have to with the team or whatever. Yeah. We do the BKFC sponsorship show, so we go out there, and then when we're on the way over there, we listen to a little bit of music, and it's not doing anything to me, but it's just me thinking about it doing something to me. That's why I want to stay away from it, and so like good. When I go out there and people know me or whatever, and you've got temptation everywhere around, and you kind of start to like walk in, and you're like, whoa, don't you walk in this direction, and you just kind of get redirected, and it's just like, it's molding me in everything, and I'm just kind of letting him guide me more, and what I was trying to say was, at first I would hear this like, oh, take it to prayer. You're like, okay, but how do I take it to prayer? How do I really hear from God? Yeah. And just like what we talked about earlier, which was the email that had come in right after, that is God speaking. So now I understand that God will speak to me with thoughts or words that I tell myself that are coming from God. And then I'm like, oh, okay, that's what I need to do. Recently, as a matter of fact, sometime last year, remember when I first started to walk, I said, hey man, I'm in a business where it may not be sin, but it's definitely finesse. So I was like, how do I play in this area? And like sometime last year, I went and did a deal that wasn't completely wrong, but it wasn't all the way right. And I remember I'm doing the deal, and I'm like, this is a bad deal. This is a bad deal.
Wow.
Lost money in the deal.
Wow.
Lost money in the deal. There's still an opportunity that I come out kind of clean, but it was like, man, I knew it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I understand. Before it was like kind of, it's intuition, or now it's the helper.
It's the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, it's the helper.
The advocate, the helper.
He's there, and he's
Absolutely.
Like, he's checking me.
Yeah.
He's checking me, and and it's like, I don't like it. I love it.
Being around you and talking to you and hearing from you is so encouraging. And I want you to know, Matt, don't let that fire go out.
No.
Don't let that fire go out. I've met a lot of people. You know my story, born and raised in church, been in church my entire life. Had seen a lot of friends come in and out. And I've seen people get on fire for God. But because of our city and because of temptation, you kind of let that fire start dwindling down.
Yeah. Even just regular life getting in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even that, right? Like you're in the car, music is being played, but you're already feeling something. And I love it because I think you're like me. We're not gonna tell other people. We're not there judging. We're like, okay, listen to the music, but I don't feel comfortable. But I'm gonna keep it up aside. Get it? Or I'm around other people. Yeah. But never lose that.
No.
Never lose that. I've known Christians that have gone too comfortable with the flesh. And you always pay for it later. Yeah. You always pay for it later. It's gonna be maybe 5-10 years later. You start listening to music again that maybe doesn't edify your spirit. You start doing things that don't edify you or help you. Next thing you know, you're falling into temptation again. But I'm proud of you. We're here with you.
Thank you.
What God has done in your life is absolutely amazing. Here you are now, leading MVP Miami, multiple locations. So it's not just Miami, it's Atlanta as well, and everything that you got going on now with the new coaching and the new business ventures, also getting into the restaurant business.
That's right.
With your food. And so, you're a businessman that now is a man of faith. And I think there's a before and after in your life. And before, maybe that old Matt would do certain things, talk a certain way, live a certain way. I remember at some point last year, you even told me, even the way I talk, I don't even want to curse anymore. And it's like, isn't it crazy what the Holy Spirit begins to do that? You're kind of like, why is that? I don't know why does it bother me, but I don't want to say that anymore.
I thought you could be a man of God. And I know some people who are following God, as hard as they can, and they'll curse, I think I sent George, the kid that has.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
And he's
yes.
like, and I just can't do it.
Yeah.
And I'm not judging.
No, but it's what God is doing in your life.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
I just can't. And when people curse too much, I'm like, it's like,
the old Matt wouldn't care.
At all.
The old Matt, it was every other word.
Yeah. And even if I didn't do it as much, it was like nothing. There was no effect, but there's just some effects that have taken place that I can't.
That's only God. Only God can do that, because here you are now in 2026 saying, I don't feel comfortable.
No. And then, talked about my obsession with my child.
Yeah.
And, I remember when I was just not learning to pray, but just giving prayer a real shot. And, my son had some challenges going on in his life. And I would just be like, I'm just going to pray, I'm going to ask God, And at first I would be like outside in the hallway, just hand on the door.
That's
and then
right.
before you know, I'm creeping in.
Yeah.
This won't be weird. And then, before you know it, I'm laying my body and just praying. And then I see God's work. I see God's hand on my child and just shaping him and just like, he dealt with the speech delay. Now this kid is on a Tuesday night. This just happened Tuesday night. We were doing the words because now kindergarten is like,
it's like middle school.
It's intense.
Yeah.
So, my wife's doing an amazing job with him. So she's doing his little studying and his little practicing, and I'm pretending like I'm going to do the quiz as well. And I'm, ear muffing it. And then he's got 10 words by day 2.
Wow.
He's got 5 sentences done. And it's just like,
wow. No, that progress. And I remember you telling me, man, I'm in the hallway. I'm praying for him through the door. And we've seen progress in his life. And then you started going inside and praying over him. And you're like, Lord, do something. And your son's a miracle. What God has done in your life is absolutely beautiful. And to see the progress, prayer is so real and so powerful. And just recently we got to go and pray over MVP.
That's right.
And you're a man who's dedicating now everything to God.
Yeah.
And there's been a massive change in your life. And I think there's a new Matt that Miami's now encountering. You can still be a businessman. Mm-hmm. You can still be a businessman that makes money and you make a living and you live a good life and all that. But now there's purpose behind everything. And I think that's what you've added to your life is faith and purpose. And I'm going to bring faith into everything. I'm going to bring God's kingdom into everything. I'm telling you, I think every week you show up with somebody at church.
Yeah, I'm bringing them in.
Yeah, what God is doing in your life is amazing. Yeah. And so I think today's episode is going to help a lot of guys who are in business, any kind of business, leading any kind of thing. And maybe they lived one way, did business one type of way. But today, it's like, wait, I can be a man of God. I can be a man of faith. And I may have to say no to some things, yes to other things. But I'm going to do it with God in my life. Him first and foremost. And so I want to give you maybe one more minute. Why can you encourage any business leaders, men out there who are in the scene, maybe LA, maybe Atlanta, maybe Chicago, maybe New York?
What I think I would like to say is, especially being in the scene and being in this business, you're thought of as a cool guy, right? And who's the cool guy? Like you think from back in the days, it's always been the guy with the car or the this and that. Yeah. That's the cool guy outside, whiskey in hand, cigarette in the other. Like that. We have an image of being a cool guy and what it looks like. And I just feel like people can give God a try for cool. Like it's cool. You know what I mean? Like it's like, when I used to recite the words of Hove, I felt like Hove. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I felt it. And me and my boy are going back on the words. So it's like, if we can get together and be like, oh, did you hear what you just said? Imagine when you're reading God's word. Come on.
And
you're
so
like,
good.
This is cool.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
I remember when I was getting to church and I'd never been to a Christian church. So I'd never been to worship, and the music's playing and hands are going up, and I'm there like, yeah, no, I mean, the song's pretty good, but I'm just gonna chill, cause I'm chill, you know, cause I'm a chill guy, you know, I'm not really like that.
Yeah.
And then before you know it,
Hands up, surrender.
like,
Yeah.
you're just like,
Amazing.
oh my God, you're amazing.
Wow.
You know, the words are hitting. It's no longer just goosebumps. It's like you're really thankful. And I just feel like sometimes, you know, you got all those terms, Bible thumper, and you know,
Yeah.
and it's like, nah, this is it. Like these people, like these are God's people. This is the real. Trust me, it's the real cool.
Yeah.
You know, if
So good.
I like remembering the songs. You know what I mean? Like, trust me, I grew up this way. But when you know this, oh man, you're just ahead of it. So I just feel like sometimes we're afraid. It's a couple things, because I talk to people. I'm like, come on, why don't you come? And I get it. You don't want to hear from him, because then he's going to change your life.
That's right. Yep.
You know? And
so some people are like, I'm not ready
I'm
yet.
not ready. And it's okay, but you know, we don't know when to get ready. So
right.
just be ready.
That's right.
And it's like, once you get over here, you take like this, it's a different kind of joy, man. It's a good joy. It's a wholesome joy, you know. Trust me, I know all about what that life has to offer. And in the moment, it's always good.
Yeah.
You know, I've had my nights.
Yeah.
I was visiting places that I thought I would always visit, even as a good person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even as a married, committed person. And I'm not going to do nothing. I'm just going to. And now it's like, nah, it's not the place to be.
Insane.
You know? And when you get around certain people, I get around people like you. When you told me I could have your number, and I've had the numbers of A-list, B-list celebrities, my favorite celebrities. You know what I mean? I get to chat with Jamie Foxx, who's one of my favorite people. And when I got your number, when you recognize me, I'm like, oh. Before I used to drive, like I got to drive the Lamborghini Revuelto this week. And before I would take a car like that, let me take it to a nightclub. Let me take it to one of the hottest restaurants. Let me pull up, let them see me. Now I just want to like, let me bring it to my son. Let people, you know, see me. And it's like, now it's different.
Wow.
Now you like, maybe somebody asked me and then you get to share the word and they're like, wait.
Wow.
I thought you were going to tell me about, you know, something else. And now you're going to talk about God on me?
Come on, bro.
So I just think.
My brother, you don't understand. Now, seeing you, hearing you encourages me more than you know, because we work hard, we pray hard. I want you to know people like me, Diana, the Phils, the Adams, the Johns, the Vlad Raquels, the Ulysses Mirrors, all of us, our whole pastoral team, I can go on and on. We take this for real. This is not a joke to us. It's not a game to us. And when we see people like you and hear stories like you, it's like, God, you are working. You are working. And so, no, the privilege is mine to see somebody's life turned around, to see somebody who's listening to the voice of the Holy. It's like, you're living this out. And this is what I pray for all of us. It's like, trust me, God can change your life. God can turn you around. And so I'm beyond proud of you. And it is cool. This is the real cool.
100%.
Yeah, 100. The peace that you get. So you go to
just
sleep and you're like, Lord, thank you.
I just had a guy come up to me at Lifetime Fitness, which you know, it's like a mini Calvary.
You have a connect group basically at Lifetime.
So I had this guy, and I know, don't try to be seen praying, but when you're seen, be praying.
That's good.
But I don't know, something happens when I just worked out, I listen to the sermon, then I go in and I'll do like a worship session in the hot sun or whatever. And then I'll get out of there sometimes and I go into prayer. This dude comes up to me and he's like, hey bro, what's your name? Oh man, I'm John. Cool, man. Did I see you praying downstairs?
Wow.
And I'm like, oh yeah. The recovery room. He's like, hey man, if I could ever pray with you.
Wow.
You know? I'm like,
wow.
Cool, dope, bro. You know what I mean? I'll holler at you. You know?
Insane.
And like, I would never even, you know, and I just believe that.
So good.
Yeah.
You know what? This is why I love this episode, because I'm telling you, I know Christians that have been walking with Jesus for 20 years and are ashamed to pray in public.
Yeah.
And here we have somebody that's a year and a half and you're like, I don't care.
No.
And you don't do it to be seen, but when you are seen, be praying.
I'm just like, something hit me. I listened to the word. I understand how blessed I am. Yeah. I'm about to take on, and trust me, my day starts off always pretty good, and then monkey wrenches get thrown, and then, you know, and I just take those moments where I'm like, dude, just the other day, with what has happened with my son and where my son came from, we're at the Urban Air, and there's a kid with some challenges. He's right there, and my son's right here, and I see my son where he's at, and I'm just like, ooh, hold on a second, and I just, and my son looks at me. He says, "Daddy, I don't hear you."
Wow.
Because he knows I'm praying.
Wow.
He's like, "Oh, but Daddy, I don't hear you. I want to hear you," because he knows. And I just, again, I'm not, that was for me, just like, because I feel it. I feel something is saying, "Thank you, Lord." And I'm praying for this.
that kid.
I'm praying for his, and if there's no change in the kid, I'm praying for his parents, and it's just like, because I know. And by the way, any parent that's dealing with any of that, superhero, just absolute superheroes, you guys deserve all the flowers in the world. But you cannot forget, and it's just coming to me, and I don't care.
My brother, you turned into a preacher.
Well, I'm a talker, so I don't want to.
You turned into a preacher, and I love it.
Just like our good friend Rick, who knows the word. When you're not all the way there, you can't be there.
Yeah,
but I'm walking.
Yeah. Well, beyond proud of you. We're with you. We're all in this together. We all have our challenges, our ups and our downs, but we're in this together. We're walking together. And so eternally grateful for what God has done in your life. It's just beautiful to see. It's encouraging to me. And so if anybody out there needs any coaching, any mentoring, if you are a business person and thinking about anything having to do with vehicles, with cars, I think Matt's an incredible person. You can learn a whole lot of lessons in the last decade and a half of being in business. But thank you for being here today.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you. And we're going to have some more conversations in the future, but keep going. Stay on fire, my brother. I love you. I'm proud of you.
Yes,
and remember, if you change yourself, you can change your world.